If you're a starseed out there that's been feels like they've got a mission to help humanity and have then embarked on a mission to learn all about all these different modalities in order to help others heal, but really feel like there's still something missing, that you've been on many, many modalities, but it's still not quite getting there in healing. This this episode is for you. Hello, I'm Julie Allison. I'm the host of Shifting Realities, and with me is my co-host and friend Rob Perry.
Hi there, Julie.
Hi there. In this episode, Rob and I are going to talk about something that is very passionate about to us, and it's part of both our missions, is to help people activate their own healing modality. We feel we all have something else in there, as well as all the usual healing modalities that we've all been into, and we'll talk about those in this episode. Oh, there's something else, deep inside that we can help you help you dig out and get into to really understand the healing, to bring somebody to a whole, to help heal the complete blueprint, to help somebody to heal the whole light, the whole soul, the whole of the body. So I'll leave it to Rob. We'll go with Rob first. And what's your ideas and thoughts on this, Rob?
Um, Many, but they're quite simple when you really sort of filter out all the nonsense that we don't need.
Hmm.
The modalities you and I have trained in, and thousands of us have trained in,
Yes.
because we know we're looking for something, we know we have something in us we want to give. So you find a modality that you think, oh, I can do that. Sounds right for me. So
Yes.
both of us, let's stick to one here. Both of us are Reiki masters.
Yes. Hmm.
Reiki is a really, really lovely thing. It's a lovely bath of gentle spiritual energy. I liken it to a spiritual massage.
Mm.
It's a nice thing to have.
Mm.
But for me, it's never penetrated beyond just nice. I love giving it because the energy flows through me. The customer loves receiving it, and we all have a very nice time. But it's not much more than that for me. So the problem I think with it is it comes of a time, and it comes of an earth vibration time accordingly. And as we upgrade and upgrade and upgrade, we leave the modality behind us and we don't upgrade it with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't anymore vibrate at the energy that I learned Reiki. So if I perform Reiki now, it isn't the same thing,
Mm.
but there's a process that has to happen. And it doesn't matter what modality you want to talk about, you have to upgrade it to your current vibrational level and your future vibrational level because we need to future proof ourselves as we grow. So for me, it's a question of, and this comes with a lot of questioning and a lot of help from the guides and a lot of channeling through this piece of fluorite that you and I have had a weird piece of synchronicity with today.
Yes. Yes.
Hold yours, yeah.
Yes.
That there are steps that you need to follow because the modality you have learned won't automatically upgrade with you to its fullest degree. So you need a cognizant frequency change
Hmm.
with that modality.
Mm.
So you need to do a couple of things. And one is you need to fully understand your modality. Where am I pulling that energy from? So in what I mean, this was no disrespect, old school Reiki,
Hmm.
where was I getting that energy from? Now, clearly it wasn't 3D energy. Was it 4D energy, maybe? Maybe was it 5D energy? I, I'd probably go for 4D. I think it was one level up, pulling
Hmm.
down. And, that's fine. That's lovely. But I don't vibrate at 4D anymore. So how do I get to the next
Mm.
level? So you need to understand that first. And secondly, you need to make sure that you are psychically very clean,
Yes. Mm.
energetically very clean. And that's actually why I've been using this fluoride. It's a great cleanser and a great grounder. Um, but that's by the by. So you need to do work on yourself. You need to do some work on that original modality. And then you need to decide, where do I want to pull the energy from? What am I using this modality for? How do I want it to benefit people? And then think, okay, I need to go to X dimension. I want to heal the physical body. I want to heal spiritual bodies. Do I want to do both? And set your sights on somewhere much higher and make that contract. Open yourself, make the contract. I make it with Galactics because that's where I'm getting the upgrade from.
Yeah.
But you're essentially making that contract with yourself and with all that is the highest source that there is.
Yeah.
So make the contract. And then when you perform that modality going forward, you don't have to change the name. That's fine. But you need to perform it with intent, because you have upgraded it and you are no longer practicing the old way of doing it. And it will slip back very easily. So I went through a process of going Reiki, or no, I'm going to call it quantum Reiki, because that sounds quite clever.
Yeah.
And
I
I wanted
remember
a hook
that.
for it so that I could mentally go, I've upgraded. But I don't need that anymore now. But I do know that by using a vastly upgraded energy pulled through me and into the customer, that I could do very much more specific work. So instead of just a lovely flood of gentle spiritual balm, I can now go to a place and work and heal. And the customer will still get that spiritual balm in the process, because it just comes with it. I'm passing energy through me into you. It's lovely. What's not to like? But I can work with so much more intention and so much more effect. I don't know how you feel about it, Julie. I'm probably being quite sort of factual about how I see upgrading a modality, but you
No,
may have a broader.
well, actually, no,
Yeah.
I do think, working, more practical types as well, because when we think of, like we have, you're like me, aren't you, Rob? We've got many. I've probably got two A4 pages of all the modalities I've done. So we'll go through some.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
Reiki is, as we said, Reiki
Yeah.
is such a lovely modality to work with. I've done then quantum touch. I've done theta. We've both done theta healing.
Yeah. Theta healing. Yeah.
Hypnotherapist. And even in my massage, I've done many, probably about 20 different types of massages. I've done access bars, and in each one, I feel like, wow, the promises that have been made to me in how you can help another individual or how you can help humanity is like, this is the one. This is the one for me. This is what I want
Yeah.
now. And then in a practical sense, I'm thinking, a client sat there waiting for something to happen and
That
it's
didn't
not
deliver.
happening.
Yeah.
And then, as Rob said, look, what we've got to do is these modalities, a lot of them, they were done many years ago. So if you think of when Reiki, I'm going to say almost first came out, because obviously technically it's been
Mm.
done, thousands of years. But if you think of, this is just somebody else. I mean, as far as I know the story, they were sitting on a mountaintop
Yeah.
and they got a download. And they got a download of all the various symbols and how to heal. So then what happens is that gets transmitted and across time and space, let's call it, by every other Reiki teacher teaching each student and passing on those symbols. But just think about this: what if you, inside you, have a knowledge and knowing, a data bank of what you would class as new symbols, but symbols that you may have been using in previous life, previous human life, or there's even perhaps as a star seed that you were using as a galactic version of yourself, or many galactic versions of yourself, and it's just hidden nicely, the nicest kept secret inside of you, that because we are a culture that has to have qualified modalities, and I'm all for that. I do agree. I wouldn't want somebody massaging me, with drumsticks and things like that, who's not been, who's not been trained at all. However, there's also, you understand that massage is a good one to go with, because you also understand when somebody has just been trained and they're just going through the motions, and you know the difference. I get that a lot with my clients. You get the difference between somebody like me who's been doing it for 20 years, who can hardly remember the first, a bit like driving lessons. You hardly remember to do put your the 10 to
Yeah.
2 steering wheel and the, mirror signal maneuver. It's a bit like that with massage. You just go with the flow and you get, somebody truly working with their modalities you can allow yourself to bring through from either your higher self, from your galactic self, from other human lifetimes, does not matter, but you can find them and bring through all those things that you just think this client at that moment in time where you are in that space with a client, whether it's in the same room or whether it's distance. There is no such thing as time and distance. So we can create that person in a beautiful. There's holographic work these days, which we can use, and that's an up level version, an up level healing modality that we can use along with massage, theta healing, access bars, Reiki, maybe put the client in,
Yeah.
hypnotic state or meditative state, however you want to do it. But this is what we're talking about, up leveling. There will be something inside you that you just need to bring through, draw through from higher self, from the contract, something that it's part of your mission on this earth to bring through, but you may just not know it. And that can come from a lot of the conditioning that we have, a lot of the comparing yourself to others that
Yeah.
we're starting to understand now that healing humanity is a far greater, far bigger thing than just one little tiny human me and one little tiny human you, Rob. That it's a greater thing altogether.
Yeah.
And that's why me and
Yeah.
Rob feel like, as we've worked with clients, we've developed things. I've been in sessions where the idea was to heal the client, and then we found things that they can use to heal their own clients as well in turn. Just one example of this is I was working with a homeopathy person, homeopathist. So you see how I don't even understand the first thing about homeopathy.
Homeopath, Julie.
Homeopath.
Homeopath.
Thank you very much, Rob. Yes. That's my head when it goes into the clouds and goes into, talking with the guide and then
Yeah.
trying to relate it in English. That's what happens to me. But yeah, with a homeopath. And what we ended up doing, going out onto a spacecraft, and you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. But this was our version in a session. Went onto a spacecraft, and what they did was took us to a planet where there were some beautiful plants, and these were 7D plants that could talk to us, that were showing us what you could do with them. And we took them back to the spacecraft, and some of them were even injecting and all sorts of things, all sorts of nice, weird, and wonderful things. And if you just allow that to happen, allow that little journey to happen, the potential for that client, what we did was we helped the client with those essences. That client could have taken that further. As it happened, that client chose not to. I think they just didn't have the confidence, just didn't think they felt like they had that ability. So you do need, when something like that happens to you, you do need to have that really strong kind of willpower, determination, and persistence, that very much like a driving lesson, that you're not going to
Hmm.
get the whole download and be able to do it in 5 minutes, that you may have to take this over a course of a year, bringing clients to go, I just want to try this. I just want to try this new thing that that I just feel that I was trying on another client and it worked. I just want to try something that I feel is just a bit of a download for me.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you can add to that, Rob?
Uh, as with all this, it's work. It's lovely
Yes.
work, but it is work, and you can't just do a quick fix on it.
No.
So you do have to perform the steps, and they'll be different for everyone, I guess. I can only go on what I've gone through and intend to still go through to upgrade
Mm,
my own
mm.
modalities. And ultimately, and I think you and I have spoken about this before, of all the modalities we've studied, the further along this path you get, the more they just combine.
That's the other thing.
And you end up with
Yes.
this one
Yes.
huge modality that you practice.
Yes.
It's still drawn from older modalities, so we need to upgrade. But what is happening to me clearly, and is absolutely happening to you, is that I'm finding my own modality. It's
Yes.
developing into what I can do.
Yes.
And I can do that with galactic and spiritual help.
Yes.
I can
Yeah.
channel exactly what I am here to do, how
Yes.
I am here to heal. What are my mechanisms of healing?
Mm.
So it's wonderful. And the higher you get, the easier it almost seems to become, because it all meshes together and it all starts to make sense together. So if I'm doing Reiki and theta healing pops in, they're one and the
Yes.
same thing for me now. They're not different things at all. Um, the last couple of years, light language is absolutely critical
Hmm. Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
work, because that's how I download into people the energy I want. So I see it, or I speak it, or I chant it, or
Hmm.
tone it, whatever I'm doing, as part of the work. And that is a new development for me. And that's only because I'm at a different level of vibration now.
Hmm. Yeah.
But we all have this potential. We're all born with it into this 3D world. It's part of our blueprint, and it's up to us to develop it. And you don't have to. If it's not for you, that's okay. But I would really love to see more people
Yeah.
standing in their own light and going, I can do this, and I don't need necessarily to wave a flag that says I'm a Reiki master, or I've got X level in theta healing, or I've done kinetics, or whatever it is. I started off life as a very, very simple tarot reader.
Mm.
Still love it because it's where I began. But I can read tarot without a pack of cards in my hand, because I've elevated the way I do it to allow me to interpret what you need. And there's never anything predictive in the work I do. It's all about your energy and what your
Hmm.
energy is doing for you and how you
Mm.
can use it. I don't need a pack of cards anymore,
Yeah.
and no one actually does. So I
Exactly.
think it's about giving up the crutches, Julie.
Yes.
Letting go of the things we hold on to and the labels we hold on to, and the sort of, and here again, I'm always knocking out our community, and I don't mean to do this badly, but there's this sort of a smugness about, oh well, I'm a Reiki master.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
and
get
so
that.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all are. Just,
Yes.
we haven't all trained, but we all
Yes.
can do it. It's nothing particularly special.
Yeah.
And it goes with every modality. How many modalities have you got?
I know.
I don't really care. I want to know what yours is. What can you do, and how much do you love to use it?
Yeah.
Because you have to love to use it.
Because there's
It's why you've
one,
got it.
yeah, there's one
Yeah.
thing about, oh, I'm a Reiki I'm a Reiki master or whatever,
Mm.
and I teach Reiki. But are you teaching it? Are you using it from, like, oh, how do I say this? Like from a kind of where, sheep follow a master, where you've just
Yeah.
been, this is how I'm trained in it, and I'm going to work on let's just say, for instance, the 7 chakras,
Yeah.
and not look into what more can I do with this with clients, and not look into more of the, more layers of us, the higher, yeah, the
Yeah.
higher layers of a client. So just for example, you can say to me, I'm a Reiki master, but unless I know, for instance, that you can work at a particular frequency that I'm on, and this is not me saying I'm at a better frequency than you. This is, are you matching my frequency? And you
Exactly.
think about this for your clients. Are you matching your client's frequency to help? It's not just going to help absolutely everybody. We cannot be one person who helps absolutely everybody in the world. We're all here to help different people. And I hear many people just saying, well, I like Rob, just almost like Rob said, this is in a different way. When somebody says, what do you do? And it'll be, well, I do Reiki and it does this. And I do quantum touch and it does this. And I do access bars and this is what it does. Instead of just saying, like I just work with all these energies, all these modalities that I've learned, and I mingle them in, and whatever you need, I will do. And as Rob said, this thing about really targeting what you want to be helping the client heal with. A client, as we know, will not heal if there's not all that, if they're just coming to you laying down, and not doing their work. Like, if you're not doing the clearing, the being of pure, sort of
Mhm.
as pure as a sovereign as you could be, a sovereign blueprint as much as you can be. We are all, bringing ourselves into almost like into crystalline versions of ourselves. If you're not, willing to, go into that, like the darkness, let's say, look at the darkness to then come out into the light, and not willing to really hone in on, what are your true gifts? And I do know, I'm going to say with this, it's because of confidence, and it's because you're doing comparing yourself with others, being that, am I as good as anybody else, being the imposter syndrome. I've been there myself, I've done it myself, and still there's still things like that coming out. But move that out the side, allow yourself to find your tribe in all of this. I know a lot of people will also say, a lot of star seeds that feel like they're doing this on their own. And this is why Rob and I want to get the word out there that you do not need to do this on your own. When you find your tribe, there's a beautiful activation, like an exchange of activation comes into place to actually elevate you to the next level. And it might even be, if we look at this in 3D or the English version, it might be that I meet you and you're telling me this is something that's come to me through higher self. I've been doing this, and I can go, oh my goodness, that's like light language. Oh my goodness, that's like your sound healing. Why aren't you doing more of that? And they just need that validation. And that's again what Rob and I can help with, is validation with clients in terms of
Yeah.
giving them that confidence boost to start working. It might be for the next year, start working within their new modalities. And then we're hearing this beautiful thing where people who maybe didn't think they could be actually producing the new modalities and getting them certified, because
Yeah.
that is quite possible. If you go back to Reiki, what happened there? Somebody on a mountaintop
Yeah.
who then got the download and then shared it with everybody, and somewhere along the line it was, it was certified. And that's all it is. There's obviously, when I say that's all it is, there's a bit more to it, isn't there, in terms of doing that. But even, where, me with light language, my target, I was originally not knowing, I got, my light language activated for me in 2019. And I just assumed, a lot of assumptions then, that I could get a client sat in front of me, oh, and they'd heal. And the client was sat there going, is that done? What's happened? Nothing's healed.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
realized along the way, as I was talking to people and doing my light language, other people's light language, where, whether I was in the room with them or over Zoom, they suddenly, a few weeks later, would be going, Julie, I can speak light language since you did that one. So I
Yeah.
realised, there you go, that realization that it's not all about this one specific healing, that there are many ways to help people. And they would activate their light language, and they might be helping somebody target a specific thing, a specific healing
Yeah.
modality that they can bring in. So we all, added to this, looking at the different modalities that we've all beautifully had over the last 10, 20 years, that we can bring in to raise our frequency and raise our vibration and keep those modalities raised as well, by bringing in the new, by helping our highest, but just allowing our higher self to bring it through. Or as Rob said, and I do, we co-create with the galactic guides. They are very much on our side. As soon as you let go, as soon as you surrender in and let the control go, that perhaps, whoa, perhaps I can work on a new modality, whoops, the guys are swooping in there. And if you
Absolutely.
don't, and as
Yeah.
Rob said, you don't have to do this, but they'll just find somebody else. They'll find somebody else, honestly.
Absolutely.
And then you'll
Yeah.
hear in a month's time somebody coming out with something you thought, well, I've thought about that. I was going to do that. And also, if
Oh,
you're not,
been there, done that. Yeah.
yeah, if you're not in
Yeah.
alignment, if you don't do it, you don't have to, because it can feel very daunting. It can feel,
Yeah.
sometimes you can be worn out with it. But if you don't do it, sometimes it's just you come out of alignment, and then a few other things, can tend to go wrong because you're not in alignment with your mission. You're coming off. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's okay. Everything's okay as it is.
I think one of the problems a lot of people have when they study a modality, however they study it, is that they contract with the teacher and they don't contract with spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they go into it and they go, I've got to prove myself to the teacher because they're obviously at a different level.
Mm.
And they've created a false contract with ego
Yes.
about achieving and being, a good student and learning well. And that's not done with intention, and there's no harm in it. But you really need to look way, way, way broader
Yeah.
and deeper and
Mm.
contract with the right place.
Mm.
Otherwise, you will stay earthbound, I'm afraid.
Yes.
Yes.
We already
Yeah.
know it might take a little time to ascend, as we want to call it, and work our frequencies up there, but it'll take even longer if we are not standing in our power and feel, very
Yeah.
disempowered by just saying, I'm looking at somebody else's healing modality. Not to say that I love seeing what everybody else has got, and I will still go on other courses, but it's always about then honing in. How can I use it?
Yeah,
Using
absolutely.
my gifts, and how can Rob use it using
Take
his
a
own
lot to get
gifts?
me on another course.
Now,
Really,
yes.
it will take a lot now because I don't know what I'm going to get from it.
Mm,
But never say never,
exactly.
because if I
Yeah.
can develop my own healing modalities and you can,
Mm,
perhaps there's something I need to learn.
yeah.
So I always have to stay
Just to
open
get
to
there.
it.
Hmm.
But I think I've arrived at a point now for myself where I need to do the work
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not stop relying on others
Yes.
to feed me.
Yes.
I'm well enough connected and well enough ascended to be able to perform my own works.
Definitely.
That
Yeah.
sounds very lofty, doesn't it? And I don't mean it to sound very lofty.
No, it feel
Yeah.
it that's part of the persistence, that's part of the
Mm.
consistency, Rob, that we tend to just become disconnected, that
Yeah.
we think, oh, if I go and spend 2 hours on a Sunday afternoon working with the guides, oh, should I be doing that? And yet, yes, I can spend hours and hours. I can spend
Mm.
hours and hours with the guides, and it just brings you to another level. It helps you to heal as well. You bringing in your own
Yeah.
modalities, just
Absolutely
heal.
it does.
Is what
Yeah.
we're talking about. This shifting your own
Yeah.
reality into that might not be quite fulfilled, into something that you're so passionate about, and really does work and target, and it becomes quicker to help people heal as well, because because you are doing the work, and you might be spending an hour or 2 hours, who cares. That's to help us move beyond what's happening in the 3D, all these issues and problems, that just think about how many how long you're working in this 3D and operating in this 3D without the connection to tell us. And it's not about the connection to
Yeah.
tell us this is what you're going to do, Julie. It's the connection to open you up to, even though you might not want to go to a meeting, and then find it was a fantastic way of meeting somebody that you can work with on a modality. It might be somebody that um has the same idea of you, and you can operate. You don't have to work together on it forever. It might be just something you need to work with somebody, for a couple of months or so, and then you go
Yeah.
your own ways. You don't have to hang on to anything. The more you hang on to things, the more you hang on to your own 3D life, because that's what you're used to, the harder it is. The longer it is
Indeed.
we're going to ascend.
Indeed. And something I don't want to hear from anybody is, oh, I haven't got time to do this.
Mm,
And then they go off on a 3-week course to do this, that, and the other.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
know, maybe do your own work now.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's time.
Mm,
Yeah. Stop seeking and start producing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
There we go.
I hope that helped everybody. I think that's as much as we can do on your own modality. And so this means, just after this recording, just go and check it out yourself. Just sit within. Just go and
Mm.
take a seat. Go out into nature. That's one of the best ways to do this. Think about all the healing modalities you've done so far. How can you target it more specifically? How can you get that information from the guides and download? Think about that. Okay, we will leave you with this for this week, and would really appreciate it if you, whichever platform you're on, if you could subscribe, follow, like us, share this information, share our podcast with everybody, and so that it, for us, it helps us to get it out to the to
Yeah,
the masses. This is just a starting point for us. Also, if you want us, to get in touch with us, to work with us in any way, we both do one-to-ones. We also love working in in groups as well.
yeah,
Please get in touch with us.
love to hear from you.
Okay. Yeah. Bye for now.
Bye bye.